About a year or so ago, I had somebody reach out to me and she was like, hey, I just wanted to bring this to your attention that somebody is using your Scalable Freedom method. At the time, we had kicked off our process of trademarking Scalable Freedom as our own Swift Ventures owned intellectual property. So it wasn't yet trademarked, which meant that legally at the time she could use it. My lawyer sent her a note to let her know that. She was also based in Perth. So I was like, oh, okay, it looks like there's copying here. She came back to my lawyer and shared something that completely shocked both of us. And I believe her. She said, thank you so much for letting me know about this. I've gone ahead and removed the posts. I will be really honest with you. I had absolutely no idea that this was Ellie's trademark. I was looking for names for my intellectual property, and this was recommended to me by ChatGPT. And it was in that moment that I realized your signature framework on its own is not defendable against AI. Hello, I am Ellie Swift. Welcome to the Scalable Freedom Show. I'm so happy that you're here. All right, so today what I really wanted to do is record an episode where I bring you inside the retreat that I attended last month in LA, which was a retreat for 7- and 8-figure business owners. I had the most incredible time. I've got some really key takeaways that I took from that retreat, and I wanted to share with you what they are. So let's start with a little bit of context. I'm going to tell you what the retreat was, why I was in that room, and then I'm going to share with you my big 6 takeaways. Let's go. All right, so the retreat was hosted by Danielle Canty. So if you've listened to the podcast over the last few months, I've shared with you that Danielle is one of my mentors right now. I'm inside her mastermind. It's been fantastic, and I really wanted to go to her retreat. She is known for running really incredible retreats, and I really wanted to be in that room to learn from her. The reason I'm learning from Danielle is obviously being somebody who runs online communities and specializing in masterminds. I knew that I had so much to learn from her, and I have already learned so much. So knew that I wanted to really be in this room, knew that I wanted to go to this retreat. I didn't go into it with really specific things that I wanted to learn. And I often think that that's the best way to enter a room, is to just be really conscious of, okay, I want to go into this experience and learn whatever it is that I need to learn in this moment, and just allow myself to be present and take in whatever is presented. I didn't know what the agenda was. I didn't know really what it was going to be about. I just knew that I needed to be there. So it was hosted in Malibu in LA at this like $20 million house owned by Skrillex, which is a random fun fact. And it was this beautiful setting. Like, the weather was beautiful, really incredible space. I had a couple of people in the room who are girlfriends, people that I was really excited to connect with, which was such a big part of why it was so incredible for me. And outside of that, I took so many takeaways, which were some things that I really expected I would get from it, and some things I had absolutely no idea I was going to get out of it, that just ended up being these like beautiful gold nuggets that I didn't know I needed. So let's talk a little bit about what those 6 were. Okay, so the first biggest takeaway that I want to share with you is basically the main takeaway that informed how I left the retreat. And the way that I left the retreat was feeling like we are in such a massive window of opportunity right now. I thought it before. I thought it maybe 100 times more when I left the retreat. Like, we are in such a massive time of opportunity. And I believe that the story that we're seeing in the online space of being behind and fear-mongering and AI is going to take over everything is so incongruent with what is actually happening in the world and how well placed online business owners are to capitalize on this opportunity right now. So for those of you that are watching on video, we're going to flash up a diagram right now, and I want to speak to what that is. So if you're listening to this and you're not watching it on video, you're not going to miss anything. I'll talk about what this is. So right here is a diagram that demonstrates and showcases AI use right now. So the overwhelming majority of the dots on this diagram are gray. That represents people who are not using AI. And again, just to simplify this, the tiny dot in the very corner of this diagram are the people that are actually using AI for any kind of like vibe coding or scaffolding or anything else, things that you are probably doing right now inside your business. That is the tiniest portion of humans. And right now, if you look anywhere in the online space, you would actually think that the majority of people have integrated AI in such a massive way into their business, and you probably feel like you are so behind. You are actually probably in the 1% or 0.5% of people who are incorporating AI in the most advanced forward-thinking way inside your business right now, even if you aren't vibe coding, even if you're just using Claude Cowork. And so the reason why that's important to know is because if you look at your business and you look at your business through the lens of opportunity and what can I do to integrate AI into my programs, into my curriculum, into the way that I serve my clients, you are going to have this incredible opportunity to really be at the forefront of change, to really create products and programs and mini apps and offers that position you in ways that other people are not utilizing. And so I came out of the retreat going, what are all the ways that we can create inside our programs for our clients? What are all the ways that we can create, that we can share with clients, ways that they can make their products even better inside their business? What are the lead magnets we can use? Like, what are the ways that we can create mini apps and just all of the things? So again, I wanted to share that with you because if you are feeling any kind of like scarcity or on the back foot with AI, I'd really encourage you to change your perspective around it and look at it through the lens of opportunity and know that you are probably in that 0.5% right now of people who are using AI in powerful, potent ways, and you actually be on the forefront of change and really capitalize on what is a massive, massive digital revolution that we're in right now. Okay, so my second biggest takeaway is something that I think is going to be so relevant for you as a mastermind or group space business owner. So one of the guest speakers, the main guest speaker who came into the retreat was a woman called Aggie. I actually don't know her last name. She's kind of like Beyonce. She just goes by her first name. She's your biohacking bestie on Instagram. We'll pop a link to her in the show notes. She's incredible. Now, Aggie, the very first thing that she shared, she came in to speak about like taking care of your nervous system when you're running a business. And the very first thing she said, and I'm going to paraphrase this so it's not word for word, but she said, the main reason why I believe women are holding stress in their business is because they're feeling over responsible for results that they believe they need to get their clients. And it was such a mic drop moment when she said that. Everyone was like, ugh. Because we've all been that person at some point or another, if we are coaches, mentors, or consultants who genuinely care about our business, who genuinely care about getting our clients incredible, fantastic results. I know I have, and it's actually a shadow pattern that I fall into if ever I am working too much or really wanting a client to, succeed in a particular area. I need to be really mindful of what is mine to hold and what isn't. And these are conversations that I have behind the scenes with students in my mastermind model every single day. I know that for the incredible coach like you, this is something that is coming up for you every single day. And so really, as she said that, she basically went on to say, like, where are you responsible for results that are not yours to hold? And where do you actually need to instead change that relationship so that your job is to provide the container, provide the curriculum, provide the coaching, but not be the person who is taking on the responsibility for the result, because you are not the person that can implement. And again, if you're listening to this won't be something that is new information, but there was something about the way that she said it where she was like, it's like everyone's thinking this and no one's articulating it, that most of us are stressed because we're holding on to too much of our clients' results or the need to get our clients' results. And actually what we're doing is we're holding on to things that we can't be responsible for. The coach-client dynamic is a 50-50 game. And so if you're holding on to parts of it that you can't control, then of course you're going to feel stressed. Of course you're going to feel overburdened. Of course running a mastermind or a high-ticket group coaching program is not going to feel like an easeful business model for you. So I'd really encourage you to check in around that and remind yourself, like, what is it that I am holding that is not mine? Because if Aggie, the world's #1 biohacking bestie, believes that that is the main source of stress for women business owners, then I think that's something that we really need to collectively address. Okay, so my third takeaway was also from Aggie. And when I shared this with my mastermind clients, I shared it with the caveat of this is going to sound so ridiculous and so obvious, but you know, when you get hit with an aha moment and you're like, I know this already. I've been told this a million times over. And also, I forgot. And this is the exact reminder that I needed. So somebody asked Aggie in the room, what's the best biohacking tool? Like, what would you say is the number one biohacking tool if you were going to recommend anything in the world? And Aggie's answer really surprised me. She said, the main role of biohacking is to emulate nature. And so your aim is just to be in or at one with nature more. And then she pointed to the house that we were in and she kind of waved her hand around and said, if you lived in this house, you wouldn't need biohacking. It's a light, bright house. You can hear the sound of the birds. You can see the ocean. That's what we need more of in our life. But most of us don't have that. And the reason this was such a massive aha moment for me is because I will literally have days where I don't do any of the basics to support my nervous system, to support my biology, or I'll lay on an acupuncture mat. Like I'll try and do these things to regulate myself when I'm not actually just sitting out in the sunlight for 10 minutes of the day, or I'm not just sticking my feet in the grass or driving literally 1 minute down the road to put my feet in the sand and look at the water. So it was such an aha moment for me being like, why am I trying to biohack when I have access? And if you're also in Australia, like this is probably your reality as well. I have so much access to nature, to just getting outside, to sunlight on my skin, to feet in the grass. Like, why am I trying to biohack when I actually just need to allow myself to be present in my life more, watching the sunrise? So as an aside, part of our daily routine at home at the moment is every single night before Sunny goes to bed, we have bath time, get her into her pajamas, go into Che's office in our house. It's just where we do it. And we clean her teeth. And then we open up our blinds and we look out. So it's upstairs. We're on a hill. We've got like a beautiful view out. So we look out to see the stars and the moon, and Sunny calls it the beautiful stars in the beautiful sky and the beautiful moon. And she actually says stars instead of stars, which is the cutest thing ever. And we look out, and I love doing that with her every night because I'm like, oh, this is just really setting her circadian rhythm in the most beautiful way before bed. But it blows my mind that, you know, we can open these blinds in Che's office, like open our, you know, folded, I don't know what they're called, like concertina blinds. We can open them all the way out and look out at this beautiful night sky. And I watched Che and I kind of take this big breath out and just have this moment where we're looking out at the night sky and we're like, oh, how beautiful is this? We never did that before we were doing this activity with Sunny, before putting her to bed. And it's those things that actually make the biggest difference. I think we're in a really interesting time right now where so many of us are looking at ways that we can really simplify our lives and come back to grassroots and nature. And this for me is just one of those ways where I'm like, I've really overcomplicated something here that doesn't actually need to be that complicated. And what are the ways that I can reset my biology and just really be at one with nature and take care of myself that doesn't require all these like fancy tools or anti-aging strategies, but actually it just requires me sticking my feet in the sand or in the grass and putting my son up to the sky and taking a few breaths, because actually it just gets to be as simple as that. So I told you this takeaway was something that's so simple to the point of ridiculous. But if you also had an aha moment from that, DM me, let me know I'm not alone in that one. Takeaway number 4, your originality has never been more important than it is right now in business. So something that I've been thinking about a lot this year is how I can continue to support my clients and my students to be really original and unique in their messaging. In fact, I went back and looked at transcripts from the last 6 months of conversations that I've had with clients. Really recommend you do this too, by the way. It's such an incredible market research strategy. And I went through and I pulled out because I wanted to see what are the main topics that we're talking about right now? Like, what are the main things we're having conversations about? And the thing that was coming up more than anything else was messaging. The amount of messaging conversations that I'm having with clients right now is through the roof, arguably more so than ever. And the reason why that is because people are needing to be so clear of what they stand for, what they stand against, exactly who they are in the online space right now to stand out. Your originality has never been more important than it is right now. Your differentiation has never been more important than it is right now. And so that was something that was really affirmed to me being in that room. Is a question that we need to keep asking ourselves is, how can we remain original? How can we remain different? How can we create a moat around our business that defends us against AI? And that concept of a moat, I realized, is one that came from Warren Buffett originally, where he essentially talked about this idea of building a moat so that your business, your intellectual property can be defendable. And right now it's really about looking at how it can be defendable against AI. I want to share a story on this, and I'm actually unsure whether I've shared this on the podcast before or not, but about a year or so ago, I had somebody reach out to me and she was like, hey, I just wanted to bring this to your attention that somebody is using your Scalable Freedom method. And they shared the post with me of somebody who was using that method. They were sharing that the Scalable Freedom method was their trademark. Now, at the time, we had kicked off our process of trademarking Scalable Freedom as our own Swift Ventures owned intellectual property. So it wasn't yet trademarked, which meant that legally at the time she could use it. However, we knew that the trademark was going to go through. So it was of no benefit for her to use that word because it was going to be trademarked. At that time, she'd need to stop using it. And so my lawyer sent her a note to let her know that. She was also based in Perth. So I was like, oh, okay, it looks like there's copying here. She came back to my lawyer and shared something that completely shocked both of us. And I believe her. She said, thank you so much for letting me know about this. I've gone ahead and removed the posts. I will be really honest with you. I had absolutely no idea that this was Ellie's trademark. I was looking for names for my intellectual property, and this was recommended to me by ChatGPT. And it was in that moment that I realized that your signature framework on its own is not defendable against AI. It is not defendable against AI. Your signature framework on its own, without other pieces that make it inherently yours, it is not enough. Anyone could go and copy that tomorrow, trademarked or not. And so I really want you to think about, what is it that makes you original? At the time, I think to the day of releasing this episode, I'm actually recording a workshop I'm actually running a workshop all about this. I've called it your uncopyable code. And so if you are watching this at any time afterwards and you're like, I really want to get my hands on that workshop, make sure you send me a DM to Ellie H. Swift on Instagram and just let me know you want that workshop. We will make sure we get it into your hands, where I'm talking about exactly how you can become uncopyable in 2026. It's something that I fleshed out based on all of these messaging conversations. And this retreat was really the cherry on top of knowing that this is a really key area for all of us to focus on in 2026 to ensure that we're defendable against AI. Okay, takeaway number 5, workshop funnels are still winning. So the main sales strategies that I'm recommending in 2026 are workshop funnels, whether they are paid or free or a combination of both. They are truly winning. I feel like everywhere you look, people are either advocating for like a low ticket offer funnel or a workshop funnel. Honestly, both have their place. I've talked about both on the podcast. I did a fantastic episode with Kate McKibben that I would recommend you go and have a listen to from Hello Funnels, where we talked about low ticket offer funnels. Workshop funnels work so well. There's a few reasons for this. Obviously, because they're live, you get really great feedback and information straight away that will help you iterate and optimize and make it better and go again. It's something that you can do once and run and run and run and run. And when you systemize it really well, all you need to do is just show up week to week, whether you're running them weekly, fortnightly, monthly, whatever that cadence is for you. And again, you can optimize really effectively, especially in this trust recession that everyone keeps talking about. If you've got a way to be live with someone and really build that trust, it's a super, super effective and powerful strategy. So we didn't actually talk sales funnels at all at the retreat. So this wasn't actually a piece of information that I took from the retreat content itself, but it was a conversation that I had on the side with a couple of girlfriends that were in the room. And when I was looking over my notes of biggest things that I took from the retreat, one of the things that really stood out for me was workshop funnels continue to be the thing that works in 2026. And when I say workshop here, I am talking about online workshops specifically. You, of course, can run in-person workshops. In fact, there's never been a better time to also incorporate in-person work into your strategy. But overall, the type of funnel that you want to iterate again and again and again for mass effectiveness is running an online workshop. And so takeaway 6 actually falls really beautifully off takeaway 5. And that is that community is the differentiator. And when I say community, I'm talking both in-person and online community. And you know this as somebody who is a coach or mentor who runs online spaces or who runs a mastermind. Community is the differentiator. We're not paying for information in the way that we used to. We are paying to be part of a community of like-minded humans navigating the same challenges and desiring the same things. And so there were a lot of conversations about what it looks like to be a leader of community, hold really powerful community, run really powerful community. For me, I took a lot from that because we're running our first in-person retreat this year. There was a lot that I took away so that I could make that retreat really amazing. But it was also really affirming for me. So another thing that I've been doing this year is any of my clients who are Perth-based, I've been taking them out for dinner, which has just been so nice to get that one-to-one time in with clients. I've been thinking about other ways that I can really love on and nurture and support my clients, things like having them for dinner in my home. There's something that just feels really fun to me about having a long table dinner with like all of Sunny's toys in the background and just bringing those, my business and my home worlds together. And so we talked a lot about what are some of the unique ways that you can create more community, whether it is online or it's in person. And so my question to you would be, what does that look like for you? Are you fostering community right now inside your existing programs? If you're not, how can you do that more effectively? And then outside of that, what can you do so that you can create more community beyond your programs and really create that movement? Oh, people know that you run these walks. One of my incredible girlfriends, Sammy, runs something called Strut Club, where every Saturday she's got people together on a beach in Perth, all over Perth, going for a really long walk, having incredible conversations. Like the community that she's built from that is phenomenal. And so really thinking outside the box, what does that look like for you? How can you create community in a way that's going to foster and build relationships, which supports your business? Okay, so that is it. Those are my top 6 takeaways from the retreat. I hope that there's loads from that you can take inside your own business. So I mentioned throughout this conversation that I'm running an in-person retreat here in Western Australia later this year in October. Now, I mentioned in our last episode last week that this was a retreat where when I announced it to my clients, over half the spots were sold out in the first 30 minutes, which absolutely blew my mind. And because of that, I know that A, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal, and B, that when we share the public seats, they're going to move really, really fast. In fact, I don't think you're going to hear about these retreat tickets anywhere except for my wait list. So if you want to be part of an incredible retreat with the leading multi-6 and 7-figure entrepreneurs, coaches, mentors, consultants across Australia, then you need to be on the wait list. The way that you can do that is to jump on over to Instagram, DM me the word retreat, and you will be straight onto that list first to hear when tickets are released. What I'll do is I'll be sharing with that list the exact date and time that tickets are going to go on sale, so you've got the opportunity to secure yours. Loved sharing this with you. Thank you so much for being here. Till next week.